I like that music.
So that music that you just heard is a song I wrote some years ago to go with, remember the box we were talking about last week,
Yes.
right? The
The
song was
box.
the box was about that box. So the song is about the journey to me, myself, and I. And it's so interesting when I've been thinking about everything that has been going on lately. And when, we've been talking about the female voice, we've been talking about, we've had our, our co-host go through this horrendous tragedy of losing the love of her life, right? And
Right.
all these things are part of this journey, right? We don't get the option to necessarily plan the things that are going to cause us to stretch and the things that are going to catalyst the growth of ourselves to this next level. We don't get to choose those, but it's part of this journey. And each one of us is consistently on this journey to a greater understanding of me, myself, and I. Right. So that's the reason why I played that as our intro song, because I thought it was kind of like, it kind of talks about where we're currently finding ourselves. Where I've currently found myself is definitely on this journey of, okay, well, what is the next phase of the journey that is ahead? Right. And how do I adapt to it? How do I stay in the flow of where the journey really wants to take me, so I don't resist what I shouldn't resist, right? Instead, I'm in flow. We talk about that. And a lot of times we almost criticize ourselves about being in flow or not being in flow. But you're not going to know what the flow is until the music starts. Right. And here's what happens: the music keeps changing because circumstances change, the music changes, the beat changes. So then you got to take that pause to catch yourself, to figure out, okay, well, how do I flow to this current rhythm? Right. But the issue is every time you're flowing, you're still flowing with the same dance partners, me, myself, and I. Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of where we are. So welcome everybody who is listening to the link. We want to thank you for being here tonight. Those of you going to listen later on, we want to thank you for listening in. And we are forever hoping that our intention is made known to you, which is to let you know, women out there everywhere, right? If we link together, if we join our experiences, share our experiences one to another, we can support each other on this thing we called the journey of life. And men, those of you who watch, we want you to stay as our supporters, supporting women everywhere, so that everybody knows we belong. We are beautiful. We are counted. We have something to bring to the table, and we're not diminishing anybody else's space. We're just saying, give us a space too, right? Because we're worthy of that space and we have something to offer and something to say. I want to introduce my co-hosts that are here with me right now. Miss Stephanie Wall, my fabulous Leslie. I have been enjoying your posts. You have been doing some things. Oh, you challenge me. You challenge me, right? You challenge me. So I
I'm
just...
listening.
Do you remember last time I was here and I would talk about like dressing up as like movie posters and stuff? I don't know if you guys saw my Untitled
Yes.
Dundee.
Yes, we did. I was like, Leslie is like the best mom award goes to you, Mom.
Absolutely. You remind me of my mom. My mom always was. I always say my mother set the standard so high, I didn't even try to reach it. Because it was like, yeah, I'm not
My
going to be able
mom
to do
did
that.
too.
Just so high.
Yeah. I feel like I have big shoes to fill. I'm trying. So it's nice to hear from the outside. It looks like I'm doing good. You know how it feels like on
It
the
looks
inside.
like you're doing amazing. It looks like you're doing absolutely amazing. Not just good. Looks like you're doing absolutely amazing. Just simply fabulous. So yeah,
I mean,
do
complete
not
with props.
doubt that.
I was like,
Yeah.
props and all. I mean, I feel like I needed to get in that, and just be about the business. You are serious, Leslie, but I loved it.
I mean,
I think you're a
She's
super
just
cool
being
mom.
amazing.
I feel
Yeah,
like
you're
the
an
secret
excellent
to
mom.
life is really about like whatever you're doing, be all in. Like, so I don't care if it's like pirate theme day at my fake preschool that I made up with my one other friend. I'm all in. I'm dressing like a pirate. I'm decorating like a pirate. I'm going to talk like a pirate. You guys, I decoupaged strawberry containers and turned them into treasure chests. I didn't even know that was possible. Like, Pinterest is a magical
where did you get
place.
that idea? Where did you? You were just a creative.
No,
where did you get that idea? Pinterest.
Really, always when I have an idea, like I go to Pinterest and I see who else has done, even if it's remotely similar, I know I can get some knowledge from it. So it's like, who else has tried to throw a pirate party? Who's done a pirate like birthday, pirate outfits, pirate decorations? So I Google, I Pinterest search, and somewhere in the sea of all the information are the seeds of ideas that I know I can turn into something. So I'm like, well, I have strawberry containers. I have some brown paint. Like, I have an old newspaper. I can give this a go. So it just like any creative process, it was like, this is a great idea. And then it was like, okay, this was the worst idea ever. I hate myself. I hate this project. I hate pirates. Wait, it's turning around. I kind of love it. I think I can do it. So yeah, it was an up and down, but yeah, just finding other people's ideas and building on it, adding your own little twist. Pinterest.
So you'll be. So if I ever plunge down the valley of trying to create, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I really don't know what I'm doing. I can call you for some, Stephanie. You listen. I know I've been there, but keep the project going. You're gonna do this.
100%.
I'm telling you right now. I know me. I'll be the one like.
I've done enough projects now that I know there's always a and a. So it's like learning to get through that down cycle before the next up cycle is, I think that's like a life skill. Gotta do it.
That would be it. How to get through the next down cycle before the next. Yeah, that would be that would be it. I mean, when you think about it, like,
look, I think there's some folks backstage waving at us, y'all. I think some folks are
I'm about to bring you on. I'm about to bring you on. These are the real life wonders of when you are doing what we call producing your own show.
This is, as someone told me the other day, this is live, people. This is live. This is live. This is the real, authentic, bona fide, boom, shunga, 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 shunga. We're not playing. We're not going to hit reset. We're not going to be in there. We can't rewind. We can't edit it. It is what it is, people. Welcome to the Link TV show.
Well, I'm glad I'm not doing this anymore, because
I told you, it was back there kicking the door down. You felt like the little one.
We're all like the mean girls, like sitting on the plastics table, and I was like,
oh my God. So I want to know, ladies. I want to know something. So tell me something wonderful, something great, something phenomenal, something good that happened to you since the last time we talked, please. Give me that. I need that.
Something.
It can be. It doesn't have to be something ginormous. See that word right there, ginormous. It can be something small, because something small, it doesn't matter. Did it happen to you?
Come on, what you got, Leslie?
I have a Peloton bike, and I know, like all Peloton owners, I'm obsessed. It's super fun. And this morning, I'm doing a challenge. It's an 8-week challenge. It's kicking my butt. I woke up at 6 a.m. to get my ride in, because I knew I had to get it done at 6 or it wasn't happening today. And I got on, and not only did I find some like members of my challenge team, because it's a whole bunch of, it's like thousands of people are doing this, but my couple hundred, like I had some, and I got high fives from them. It was just fun. And at the end of the ride, the Peloton instructor sent me a high five. And I've seen people say that happens. It's never happened to me. You would have thought he was actually in the room high-fiving me the way I reacted. It was like,
I'm gonna give you a high five. I'm gonna give you a high five right now. Wow! I'm gonna give you a high five for doing the Peloton 1, right? And then number 2, finishing the course. High five to you. I mean, seriously.
Good.
Well, he gave me
awesome.
that high five, and it was right at the hardest part, right at the end of the ride, and it gave me so much energy. I actually got a personal best for a 1-hour ride. So awesome. High five, personal best, feeling good all day because of it.
You all want one of these, don't you? You want one of these, don't you?
I do.
You know, I'm like, no. We need to get a little pink hand. I need to. Yes, a pink hand.
No, you right. So we want a pink and gold hand. Yeah, come on. Who's working? I need you to work on that. And guess what else I want you to do? Put that in the box.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
You know, I'm going to mention. Listen, I'm going to mention the box at least. Well, wait a minute, Leslie. You said we can no longer 7 is not the going one anymore. I'm going to mention it at least 21 times.
There you go. That's right. 21 times, at least.
Oh, I shall tell you. Okay, you know what happened that was really good for me was that, and it's actually today. So I've been talking about the fact that I'm going to get back into doing fitness, right? And start using the gym that I have, but I hadn't really been doing it. So I got up at 3:00 this morning. And it was my plan that I'd be in my gym at 4:30. That was the plan in my head, right? And 4:30 came and I was still with my laptop and working on stuff. And then 5:30 came and I was still on my laptop and working on stuff. And then I literally said to myself, you know what, put the laptop down. We're doing
okay. Because I was getting ready to give you a thumbs down. I'm going to come on, let's get it together.
So I did. I went in. I got some weights done, right? Which felt so good. I got some weights done and I did the Peloton with Hannah. So I did a half hour with Hannah and I got in about 5 point something miles. Right. So I was like, okay, I got something done today. And it felt great to have gone into the gym and to have actually worked out. So now I feel like, okay, you know, I'm going to have to keep saying it to myself again, because the habit is to be overly busy and just be working and not feeling like it's okay to take that time, because I feel I should be driving some return on investment in some way. But it felt so good just to, you know, kind of be in there and be back on the bike.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a
you're
good
on the
step.
Peloton also? You have a Peloton
So
also?
I have a Nordic track, but I have a Peloton membership. So I put Peloton on my iPad and then Peloton use my iPad while I'm on my Nordic.
Still.
Yeah, so but
very
yes,
good piece
but
of,
it was 5 miles. It was
equipment.
5 miles, yes. So
Awesome.
5 miles in. So I'm like, if I can minimum do 5 miles every day, I'm good. If I can minimum do that, you know, and it only took me half an hour, which was good.
Hold on. So are you on the Nordic track? What are you doing?
No, not that Nordic track, the Nordic bike. So the Nordic track SSI, they've got a bike. And the reason I ended up with a Nordic bike instead of the Peloton bike when kind of COVID started was that the Peloton warranty on the bike is not that great.
Mm.
So, right. So with the research and everything, Nordic came out as the top bike for lasting warranty and all the rest of it. So got a Nordic, right? And I can switch in and out. So I can use the iFit trainers that come with the Nordic, or I can use nobody and just do what they call manual miles, right? Or I can then also use my Peloton.
So you did 5 miles.
So I did 5, I did 5.5 miles.
And how many miles would you do, Leslie?
Oh, I don't even know. I could look it up, but it's probably like...
It's crazy. Whatever it is, it's okay. Are you doing also jump off the bike, jump back on the bike, and all of that other stuff that I see on television?
Now, see...
Are you doing that, Leslie?
So I'm not doing the jumping on and jumping off the bike.
Do you get off the bike and do stuff and then get back on the bike?
I'm a solid.
I don't like that. Yeah, just be like on the bike.
They have bike boot camps where you can like bike and then you get off and lift some weights and then back on the bike. I like to just get in the zone because I have found over the years that I hated running, but it's because the first 20 minutes of any exercise just suck. Your body's not warmed up yet. You're settling into the rhythm. So if I ride for 30 or 45, then the last half of the ride feels pretty good. But the first half is always a struggle. So I like to get in my rhythm and go for as long as I have time for. So today I had an hour and it was awesome. It felt great.
Yeah, there's
Sweet.
something. There's just
Adriana,
something
do
about
you
it. It's so
also
liberating.
have a bike also? Adriana? Yeah.
No,
I love
What?
the way I love the way she went.
no, I do
You're like,
yoga.
who?
I do yoga.
Me? Are you
So
crazy?
my two exercises are walking, which I do. When I do, I usually do 30 minutes, and I love it because it's a whole ritual for me because I measure it on. So I listen to Abraham Hicks talks, and each talk is 15 minutes. The people usually cut them at 15 minutes. So I listen to two talks. That's 30 minutes of walking around my complex. So that's how
Type the
I
name in
time
there.
it.
Type the
I'm sorry,
name in the talks you said you listened to.
Abraham Hicks.
Let me type it
Abraham.
in.
Yes,
Abraham Hicks is amazing.
it's
I
amazing.
love it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Abraham Hicks is
I've
just
never, I don't
simply
think I have. Maybe I have, but I'm gonna have to check it out. So what does
I actually
Abraham Hicks
love it.
talk about?
Mostly manifestation. And I love it because the message is actually always exactly the same, very short and very to the point, but it's simply you cannot achieve anything if you're not happy right now. You can struggle, you can paddle, you can do the doggy paddle swimming constantly and think that you have, so there's I really like this attitude that promotes that just because you're struggling a lot doesn't mean that you're doing a lot, and that a clear mind achieves way more than a struggling mind. So it really works for me is so I've had a couple of things that I do. So I listen a lot to those talks. And one of the things that I do is I listen in the morning. And these days, for example, my morning routine is when I'm doing like clearing up and doing dishes or putting things on the dishwasher or whatever and making coffee. So during that time, I have my headphones on and I'm listening to that. And that's about 15 minutes. So it gives me time to go through one talk. Then I sit and I do 15 minutes of meditation, and I like doing that with binaural beats. So that really, really works for me. That puts me in a completely different state of mind, and I can really relax. And then if I'm gonna walk, then I do that. If I don't walk, then I do yoga, and I usually do 30 or 45 minutes. I've been using an app too that I love that is called Down Dog.
okay.
It's really, really excellent quality. I tried several yoga classes, courses, whatever. The qualities were bad. The teachers could be good, but then they are recording in their studios. There's a lot of echo. So this one is particularly good, and I love that it has many levels, from very, very, very beginner
Okay.
to people who are always on their head. And I'm doing beginner intermediate. I don't really feel the need to go further than that, but I do try to do it at least 4 times a week or more if I can. So in an ideal day, I do both the yoga and the walking, but it's at least one of the two.
So question, okay, so I heard what Leslie, she told us what she did that was amazing, which I hats off, kudos to you, my dear.
I did look it
And
up. I rode 20 miles this morning.
Wow.
I was going to say, if you did an hour, it had to be about 20 miles. Yes.
Wow, that's a lot. That's
So
amazing.
I'm getting stronger. I love Peloton. And I will say, because of the metrics, like a lot of times we do stuff. And to your point, Adriana, like just because you're busy or you're like moving doesn't mean you're accomplishing something. And I love that they have workouts that are like, here's your metrics. Here's what's going to help you get better. And so I've just kind of trusted them, and I can see it on the graphs. I'm like, oh my God, I get it. It used to take
you got
me
stronger.
an hour and a half to ride 20 miles. Now it takes me, an hour. So it kind of blows my mind what's possible when you track what you want to get better at,
Mhm.
That's great.
But the key
But
is
you
the
want me to
starting,
Sorry?
right? That key is the starting. Whatever it is we're doing, starting it. And if you fall off, start again. Right?
And
But if you
I
don't
think
start, you don't get improvement.
Steph, are
Right.
you trying to ask me what is the wonderful thing that happened?
Yes. Because I know
The
I got Miss Agile Lady. She got
Honey,
on there in
honey,
the water track.
last week we were talking about the your tens versus your sevens. Remember, we were talking about that the best things don't have to be the most the biggest events or anything like that. And I think one thing that was great was that this Sunday I did what I consider nothing, and nothing means I sat all day and I just read fan fiction all day.
Ooh,
And
okay.
that feels great. And I did it. Speaking of Abraham Hicks, I did it because I realized I am a very very avid reader, but lately I do use audiobooks instead of reading, and it's very practical because you can be doing a lot of stuff while listening. So I go through a lot of books. I go through 2, 3, 4 books in a week. That's a constant for me. But then I realized I was doing too much of the reading, for knowledge or personal growth books or whatever. So I was not doing anything for pure and simple fun. And I really needed that because, the past few weeks and the past month has been incredibly stressful for me. There's been many things going on at the same time with my partner, with my parents, with the situation in my home country. It's been incredibly stressful. And I realized I've been doing a lot of work on myself with my personal growth books and my meditation and all of that, but I was not doing anything that was just pure and simple fun. So and it was hard to sit and read all day because I want to write a piece. There's a website where I write, and they throw prompts, and when I can go with the prompt, I love it, and I wanted to write the piece, but I was not the right frame of mind. But I feel sort of like the obligation to write it. So I the first few minutes I was like, I should be just writing, but that feels like work. Because when it's not inspired, it feels like work. So, just putting myself in the state where I said, you know what, I can just read this. And I love fan fiction because, it's just fantasy that has where you don't worry about the quality, when you don't worry. And usually you read people that you like because they write really well, but you're not judging the book because of the quality. And you're not going to tell anyone that you read a fantastic book because it's not that. You're doing it because it's your guilty pleasure and because it's your fun. And there was this very long story that was like 150,000 words. So it took me the whole day to go through the whole thing. And I kept saying, I'll start writing my article in an hour. Next time, maybe in a couple of hours. It's only like 3 p.m. I'll start it at 5. The whole day went by. I did not write anything, but I was so relaxed at night. And I slept well. And I think I dream about whatever was happening on that fiction because, I was just like in this fantasy world that was so incredibly relaxing.
Right.
And it
Did you
served
finish
me,
it?
it served me
Did
really
you finish
well.
it?
I'm sorry?
Did you finish it?
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm going to say, Netflix, you need to binge watch just one time.
Oh, I'm sorry?
Just one time you got to binge watch.
Oh, I binge watch all the
binge
time.
watch
I'm
on.
out of shows. I'm out of shows.
Oh, okay. You are familiar. I mean, because that I will tell you that my guilty pleasure, because I'm honestly, I don't turn the television on. I mean, I'm looking. I have a television right here on my desk, and I don't turn it on because it's a distraction for me, and because oftentimes, if the television just on, it's watching me. It's like the news or something, and that is such a Debbie Downer. The real world is enough for me. I don't need any more extra doses, right? Of it, I get it all day. I'm already right, so I don't want to hear it again because it's a lot of replay. But my guilty pleasure when I'm really shutting everything down, when I'm like, okay, I'm not working, is I'll say, okay, what's the thing? What's the thing everybody's watching on Netflix? And I will binge watch it. I'm talking feet up popcorn. And I'm like, okay, what makes it good? Right? But that's my guilty pleasure. Now I love to read. I mean, I have books all around me. I love to read. I listen. I don't turn the radio on in the car. I'm listening to something. And for me, personal development, manifestation, mindfulness, motivational, anything is not only inspiring and educational, but it's entertaining to me. So I mean, so I get all of that. But I'm going to tell you that this weekend, despite all, because I'm still helping Charmaine, because by the way, the services there's gonna be this Friday
Okay.
at 9 o'clock, and so that's gonna be a full day. So please keep Charmaine in your prayers. I'll put a little something in our group in reference to it. If you all would like to send some to a foundation on behalf of Charmaine, that'd be great. So despite all of that and planning, I got some time to relax and enjoy and just get a good belly laugh about just talking to my husband and just talking, which is something I don't get to do all the time because I'm either in work mode now. I get my good laugh when I'm over here. I'm on here, but when you're focused, you're focused.
Mm-hmm.
Lizzie, you up to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We're always working, we're always thinking. But
Right.
I was intentional about spending time with friends and family and shutting things down and getting
Good.
back to where I need to be because, as I told you, menopause is causing a whole nother besides the pellet got some things under control, but what is not under control is all the weight that came with it. So I was like, I need to walk. Like I start there, right? So that is something that I got back to, something that cause I started like, well, I'll walk later. I do it later. Oh, it's exercise when cleaning the house. No, it's not. I need to be doing that thing by itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been walking my little pup. And sometimes I used to be when I'm walking, I used to like be multitask. I'm on the phone. I'm this. So I'm intentional about when I'm walking, the first 20 minutes particularly, to just walk and look and observe
Mm-hmm.
and take deep breaths and look up at the sky and look at the planes and look at the cicadas, right? But look to really be aware and be present because I've realized that I have been so busy growing and being present for everybody else that I'm forgetting to smell the flowers for myself. So that has been it was wonderful for me. So that was my good
I,
thing.
Awesome.
that right there, I think is, I mean, I think you need to say that again for every woman, for every human out there, is being present for yourself,
Yes. I
not
told everybody,
forgetting
yeah,
to do that. That's
I
that's
put
huge.
I created a post and posted, we need to put ourselves on the top of our to-do list. I have when I tell you I've got booklets and booklets, I have lists, I'm right everywhere, right? And I said from now on when I write my list, number 1 in all caps in big print is going to be
Hmm.
Stephanie. Highlighted exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Because how is it possible to forget about moi? But I do.
I think you're
I put
not
me
the
laugh.
only one. I don't think you're the only one. I think, especially when you are givers, just a natural flow, it's so easy to be giving, and forgetting that if you're not giving to yourself, you will end up with empty and have nothing left to give to anyone else. And then wonder why all of a sudden you don't want to be around people or people are irritating you, etc. It's because you've gone and run to empty. So it's so important in the giving out to take the time to give back to yourself.
Yeah.
And if you are on the top of the list, right, it's not about feeling guilty or feeling that you are somehow being bad to others. You're actually making sure that you're serving others by first serving yourself.
Well,
Yeah.
But
there's
that's a
something
difference. Go ahead, Adriana.
there's something that I learned maybe 20 years ago, and it took me a while to really, really get it in my head, but I love it. Which is that a sinking boat doesn't save anyone. If
Mm.
you're sinking, You're not pulling anyone out. So you need to be not only floating, but like navigating strongly if you really think that you're going to be of any use to anyone else.
I like that.
So self-care is absolutely not selfish. You know, real self-care, which is it's a whole controversy. I actually saw it a little bit a few weeks ago about how self-care became this controversy because it becomes an industry where they are telling you that the more things you buy, that's what self-care is. That's not it. It's
Right. We're talking
actually
about things.
paying attention to yourself and enjoying yourself and taking time for yourself. And if you feel that you're losing your patience, then you're not doing it enough. If you're getting impatient with people, then you need more distance, you need more boundaries, you need more time apart so you can be present with them when you show up again. That's how it is. It's otherwise, you're just going down to the bottom like a rock and thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna save somebody or gonna help when you're just like blah 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 going down.
What do you do? So I will tell you. Remember, during my recovery period, I learned I had a routine, which helped me. At first, I wasn't recovering. I wasn't recovering. I was starting stressed out, and then I finally got it. I read a book, and I read a couple books, and was talking about mindfulness and about how you got to heal yourself from the inside out and all that good stuff. So I started focusing on my breathing and resting and all this good things. I had my whole routine. Once I was feeling good, I was back on the grind. I forgot about the routine. Right? Fell off the
Yes.
wagon on the routine. And so I said, you know what? I'm like, I've noticed, sometimes your shoulders are up a little bit. And you're like, well, I'm a little tight, And whenever I think about it, I was like, okay, I know what I need to do, get back in the routine and what works. And so, like for any of us, what is it that you do, that you've done in your past or right now that you do and you do prior to those days when you feel your best, you're at your best. And I know that when I get a good night's rest, when I'm actually being eating and treating my body the way it should be, I'm eating healthy, I'm walking, I'm exercising, I'm laughing, I'm reading, I'm doing the things I love to do, and I'm putting things in priority. I'm operating with priority. You do this, you do that. If it doesn't get done, no problem. Put it on the list for tomorrow. When I'm operating in that, life is grand. When I wake up in the morning and before I get up and start my day, I meditate. I take at least 5 minutes to just meditate, breathing, and I'm talking a guided meditation and do an exercise to start even if it's 5 or 10 minutes of exercise, something before I start my day, before I get on phones or computers or start anything else. My day is great. But if I don't do those things, have my moment with God and all this good, my day sucks and I am hangry and I'm short with people.
Right.
So what is the thing? What do you do in the morning? What do you ladies do? What do you do, Leslie?
I need 2 hours, and I
Okay.
just learned that in the last year. I need 2 hours of self time if I'm going to be at my best. So I have to wake up 2 hours earlier than I used to because unfortunately, the way I was raised, my school used to start very, very early when I was in high school. So my grandma, who was the person who will wake me up, will feel really bad. So she will let me sleep until the last minute and then make me hurry to get out of the door. And I grew up thinking that you wake up just when you have enough time to roll out of the bed and you run out the door. And that is terrible for me. It's terrible. So over the years, and mostly in last year, I've realized I need 2 hours. So I start waking up way earlier and of whatever time I need to be out of the door. And I need a whole hour just to wake up. And either if I'm not super tired, I may get out of the bed and make some coffee and start with a meditation or something. But otherwise, I can be just in bed, just enjoying the bed, trying not to fall asleep again, because I really need to wake up. But I love bed. I love being in bed. And I just enjoy the feeling of being in bed and hugging my pillow and putting my covers on and just like pretending like it's a Sunday every single day for a while. So I
I love that.
I put the time aside so I can have that every day. And then
So what time do you get up? You said 2 hours. So what time do you get up?
well, I usually don't need to leave the house. I need to leave the house like 8:45. So if I start by 7, or if it's earlier, so if I start at 6 or 7 a.m., it's more than enough time because I really don't have to start so early. And I'm like 10 minutes from my office if I go to the office. And actually, that's one of the things that I love, that so much work is being done from home now, because the office is just opening the laptop. So all I need is 30 seconds to get to the office.
Right.
Right. So and Lizzy, it's giving me more time, and I am enjoying it so much. I am so productive and so relaxed and enjoying everything so much because I gave myself those 2 hours. And I do too. So during those 2 hours, just I have coffee, water, and bone broth, because I do a little bit of intermittent fasting. So I do maybe 16 hours before my first meal. So that's what. But those drinks, those hot drinks, are part of a ritual for me. I just sit first with the hot coffee and enjoy the hot coffee, and then with the hot broth and enjoy that. And it could be with a meditation tape or a book, or it could be just me looking through the balcony and just allowing myself to have time.
Yeah,
I love that.
So that's my.
I love this. I love the thing you talked about, making it Sunday.
every day.
I like that.
Every day. I love that.
On Sundays, which is usually when I write, then I am super hyper and I just wake up and I move a lot faster on Sundays than I do during the other days. But I like my little piece of Sunday every morning. It
So
makes
wait a
me
minute.
feel so good.
So Lizzy, do you meditate or do anything like that before you get on that bike?
No, because I have a toddler who gets up at
right.
unpredictable times. So she might come in at 6, she might come in at 8:30. Like, so depending on the day, I try to get up and do an early bike ride at least once a week because I feel really good when I do that. But I couldn't do what I did this morning every day. Just the intensity and the length and such would be too much. So I was thinking about your question, and it's not necessarily how I start my day because that part's a little bit more unpredictable with a toddler. So what I try and do is close out my day very intentionally. So my husband and I, like, we turn off the TV at a certain time. He is a super night owl. So he stays up until 3 or 4, but he pretends he's going to bed when I go to bed. So he tucks me in. So we go to bed together. I do all my face routine, wash my skin and do all the moisturizing. And then I have this little journal where it's called the Mom's 1 Line a Day Journal. So I write down one good memory that I had with my daughter that day, or something funny that happened, or a thing that she said. Capture those like little everyday moments that you might otherwise forget. And it's great because now I'm in the 5th year. So I can go back and say what else happened. And it's like, I certainly would have forgotten most of the things I wrote down, but they make me chuckle, or like, oh, I remember that day. So that's a nice little ritual. And then my husband and I alternate. On odd days, he goes first. On even days, I go first. We talk about 3 things we're grateful for that day. Because I think it was Abraham Hicks where I learned the way you go to bed impacts the way you wake up. So if we end the day with gratitude, no matter what time that little 3-year-old finger comes in my face and is like, mama, like, I wake up more full of gratitude than if I went to bed cranky or angry. So I find also that since I may not be able to regulate the start of my day as much, unless I wanted to get up ultra early, which I've just opted not to. We will probably get into more of a routine when she starts school in the fall. And maybe then I will get back into kind of like the early morning workouts. But I find that just stopping in the middle of the day when I'm getting cranky with people and doing like an internal, like 3 things I'm grateful for, and sometimes that's hard, like depending on what's going on in the situation. So I learned this thing called it's just the five senses check-in. So what's something I'm grateful for that I can smell, that I can hear, that I can see, that I can touch. Okay, so going through the senses, and I find that it's easy to find gratitude in like feeling the breeze on your skin or hearing a bird chirp or just the silence in the room. If like you're by yourself, you're like, oh, it's really silent. It's kind of nice. Like, so the five senses for me, when I feel myself getting cranky, is a good way to stop it from going too far.
I love that.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. One of the situations that happens when you start doing a gratitude practice is that you run out of things to be grateful for, because we all start with the big things: your family, your kid, your partner, your friends, whatever. And then when you're trying to do the exercise continuously, you feel like you're running out, but then it's because you're not listening to those things. The birds outside, the fact that you can be in a silent room for a minute, the smell of the food that is cooking, the smell of the coffee. So gratitude is not gratitude for big things. So it's not making a list of awesome things that happen, Instagram worthy things or anything like that. It's about this, it's about the smell of the coffee, or the fact that I have a minute of silence and nobody's saying anything, and you just let it be. That's enough. And that's a practice that I love. That idea of the five senses is really, really, really great.
That's excellent. Yeah, I love that, because it gives, like I said, it's great. Those are great prompts, and you've got to find whatever it is that you need to be able to give you the prompt, right? To set yourself. I did a couple of experiments with myself over the past couple of weeks. And one of them was, when I get up, just allowing myself the pause in the bed, right? To look around, because it's like, okay, I'm here. And most days now that, there's nobody else here with me, kind of thing. But just the fact that, hey, I'm here and I'm okay. So that's been a thing for me. Hey, I'm here and I'm okay. And then a couple of weeks ago, I created a brand new personal affirmation set for myself. And I called it Craft Your Life. And I recorded it, right? So I will play it. And it's about 55 minutes long. And it starts out with gratitude. And I talk about how, I'm grateful today that I have hope. And I'm grateful that as I have hope, I flow into gratitude. I'm grateful my eyes open. And as my eyes open, I flow into gratitude. And I'm grateful that everything I'm grateful for keeps me in the flow of gratitude. So I have about probably 15, 20 minutes that just talks about being in that gratitude flow. And then I start to talk about how I am embracing who I am and the greatness that is me. And have about probably 10, 12 minutes about affirmations that talks about the greatness of who I am and accepting that. And I accept it with love, and I accept it with fullness, and I allow it to flow out of me. It oozes out of me. And I talk about the vibrations of my voice. I talk about my smile. I talk about the presence that I have in a room. And I go through all those things and declare all those things about myself. Every day I do that, my days are way more productive. And my self-confidence in who I am is like at an all-time high. And when I don't do that, I get the points of self-doubt in the day where I have to rejig myself, right? And I may fall into maybe if I should have, maybe if I had done this, and I'll start going back to my past with regrets of I should have. Maybe if I had da. But whenever I start my day where I'm crafting my new life, I have no regrets. There's no backward looking. So I've been playing with it to kind of like just, okay, well, what is this doing? Where is this placing me? Because it's a different set of affirmations from what I would normally do, right? The whole Craft Your Life is very different because now I'm in the process of crafting my future. So I had a future set in my mind that involved a certain kind of future with certain people, etc. So once they left and things shifted in my life, it was like, okay, I have to craft a new life now. So I have to see a new future. And I'd always had a future set that was looked a certain way. So I had to craft a new one. So it's been taking the time to craft it, like literally like somebody who is architecting something. And I have spent time in my lab of imagination more than I've done in years, where I sit, and I mean, it's like a literal practice. I sit, I see the future I want. I see myself in the future. I see the people around me that I want. Some don't have faces because I don't know who they are yet, right? But I feel the emotions of the presence of these people with me, and what it feels like to laugh with them, what it feels like to feel their care, their love. I feel my grandchildren that are here and the grandchildren that are coming to me in the future. I feel my family around me. And now that I've done that, it's a place I can go into at any moment. And all of it becomes really real, which aids in manifestation because it makes manifestation a lot faster. But I hadn't got that disciplined about manifestation since the last time I was this disciplined about manifestation would have been about 1997. Right, was the last time I was this disciplined about forming and crafting a life. So I haven't done it, right, for years. So it's building that muscle back. But when I tell you that it changes everything,
Yes.
wow, just
But
like
the thing
wow.
is, you're doing the most important thing, and you're making me realize the things that I'm not doing, and that when I have done, they're absolutely perfect and they work. And it's feeling the feeling of that life
Mm-hmm.
specific, not necessarily taking. So, for example, people love what do you call the boards?
Vision
Vision
board.
Vision
boards.
Vision
boards,
board.
yes.
Vision boards are great. They really work. I've done it. I've done vision boards. I've done vision notebooks. I remember the best one I had was a notebook actually, where I just wrote the things
Mm-hmm.
and doodled them, and all the things that I put there, they came to pass and better than I had programmed them. So it was fantastic. But if it's something that is like this, is that the feeling, the excitement, the joy, the living, imagining the actual scene happening.
Yes, yes, being in it, actually being in it. So
Exactly
it
in it.
becomes tangible for you. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't go in that deep. But
Mm-hmm.
when you learn to go
Yeah.
that deep into the moment, so it's tangible, you can hear the sounds of the time, right? You can feel somebody brushing against your skin. You can feel yourself leaning against a wall, and you're
Yeah.
in that moment and it becomes color. It's no longer black and white. It's
Mm-hmm.
full technicolor. Oh my God.
I
Mm-hmm.
love that. We
Whole different, whole different kind of thing. Whole different kind of thing.
and
And
Leslie, I
I've
know you.
used it before to like when I got into this country and I didn't have a job and and I was homeless, I used it to manifest my job.
Mhm.
And I manifested so much that when I actually had the interview, I was in exactly the room I saw in my manifestation, in my imagination lab. And the guy was wearing the same pants as he was interviewing me, the whole 9 yards, right? It was that tangible. So what was hilarious was one of my students sent me The Secret about a week ago,
The
the
book.
book. Yes. And the last time I had activated that kind of that level, right, was finding the book The Secret underneath my bed. You just pulled it out?
I just put the. I mean, I just put the DVD, the whole. I had the book and the DVD. I just put that away because I was organizing and I found it. But wait a minute. Even when oh gosh, in the '90s, late '90s, I was in sales, right? Like, although technically all in sales, but I was in a sales person, right? And everything was about. They didn't call it manifestation, but that's what it was. If you want to, whatever you want, a new car, you want a new whatever it is you go to the car dealership and
Hmm.
you sit in and you smell, and you pick out the car that you want.
Mhm.
You take it for a test drive, even if you know you don't have the money. You go and you look at the house that you want to live in the neighborhood that you want to live in. I mean, you just go for it. And I mean, you envision, you walk up and down those stairs, you take pictures like this is going to be my house. And or if you don't know where, but you want that house. And I did those things. Well, first, let me tell you right now, I live in the house built up from the ground that I envisioned, that I manifested. I certainly got the cars that I went and smelled. I mean, all of them. I mean, some I got rid of. I had two-seater. I was like, oh, this is cute, but it was cute for about a couple months. I was, this is not a good winter car in the state of Maryland. So I got rid of that. I mean, all those things. But I'm telling you, if you can't, and everybody from cybernetics to whomever, everybody, if you cannot see it, you cannot achieve it.
Mhm.
Right? You've got to, when you were talking about it, I was thinking during the pandemic, I used to set my alarm so they would go off every 30 minutes. So I would get up and go outside and take a walk because I'm not gonna be blowing up. I mean, and while I was going for a walk, I was talking to folks. I was going live. I was talking, and I told them, as Coach Stephanie was talking, and I was telling them, think about a time. What would I gave them the old, if you, whatever it is, the problem that you're having, whatever that thing is that you're having a problem with, imagine going to sleep and waking up in the morning as a magic occurred. And while you were asleep, that thing no longer existed. It was gone.
Mhm.
When your feet hit the floor in the morning, how did you know? What was different? How did you know? And when I ask my clients that, they're like, well, and they tell me what they felt like or what looked different, right? You felt it has to be a sense thing.
That's
And then you go,
the
right. And then I go on to ask them, okay, so what do you look like? And how do you feel? I mean, I go deeper. Then I ask them, how do other people treat you? And you got to take them there, because once you take them all the way, and let me take yourself all the way, you got to get deep down in there.
Yeah.
I'm talking about not only what do I see, what do I hear, what do I smell, but how do I feel?
Yeah.
And once you get all of that and you really like it, you want more of that. And sometimes people, especially people that's been depressed, and they can't remember when they felt really good about themselves. Well, if you can show them the time when they felt great about themselves and why they felt great about themselves and how they felt, it helps them to get out of that place, to get back to to find their way back to their light. So just, it's not just for getting things. Sometimes it's to help us find.
It's getting you. It's about.
Yes.
It comes because for you to get to the place where your manifestation muscle is really strong, it's because you've come back together.
Correct.
The first step is the finding yourself.
Can I tell you guys a story? You reminded me, and I had a picture of it over here. So years ago, I lived in Washington, D.C. in this condo, and I loved it. And I heard about this thing called the Transformational Leadership Council. And it was a group of leaders that would get together and talk about leadership type issues. And I'm like, oh, I want to be. And then I'm like trying to figure out how to get in this council because leadership was my jam. And it was like invite only, like top level people. It was like Jack Canfield, Michael Beckwith, Lisa Nichols. People featured in The Secret, I think, was like kind of the group that started it. So I put up on my mirror, I called it a living vision board. I put pictures of all those people on my mirror, and I stood there and talked to them every morning and every night while I brushed my teeth. So I stood there, right? So this was my thing. I was like, I'm in this council. Like I put the logo up there, like it's right there. So I just stood there and I did it. And this was up from the time I put it up until I moved out of that condo. And I took this picture at some point. And, I moved, took the pictures down. I think I just threw them away. I printed on printer paper. I was like, whatever, didn't work, not in the council. And then a few years later, I was at a leadership event, like this retreat thing. And Lisa Nichols was one of the speakers. And I'm like, holy crap. Like this is one of the people that was on my board. And then a few years later, I was in this little movie. And two of the people that were in this were in there. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I was speaking at an event and Jack Canfield was one of the other speakers and I got to hang out with him. And you have no idea. I was looking at this. I'm like, oh my God, I met that guy too. Like I've met and been like speaking with so many people from this board because I stood there and risked. I mean, I wasn't risking in front of anyone, but looking like an idiot for having all these, when people would come over, they're like, what's this? And I'm like, oh, it's my council. It's the people that I want to be around. And they're like,
I love it.
weird.
I love that.
That's
The council.
And so while I'm not in this council, I have been invited to other leadership councils that have the same feeling, to your point, Stephanie, that I had when I was including myself in this group of who I thought to be illustrious people. There's tons of people that will give you the feeling you want, but you have, like, this helped me focus the vision of how would I feel if I was in that group. And just seeing my face, that's why putting it on the mirror was like a step above looking at other people on a board, because I was in it every day. I was in it, and it felt different than looking at it like through a window.
And you belong there with those people. And you belong there. You weren't afraid. You like, I belong with it. That was another thing, because some people don't think they belong there.
Yes.
You were like, I've always been among them.
Yeah.
So when it came time for you to be among them or others like them, it was like my son says he wasn't afraid of playing basketball against the big guys because he's played basketball against a big guy, his brother, all of his life.
He was ready.
When you're ready, you're ready.
Yep.
Most things we're afraid of has nothing to do with the lack of wanting to do it, but because we're fearful and use this because of something we're not prepared. Our minds are not prepared, whether it be a skill, but your mind was prepared because you've been talking to the big dogs, big cats for like ever. That's awesome.
And I tell people, it's like, don't ask yourself the question, am I ready? Because you could say no and short circuit your own thought process. So I always start with like, how am I ready? What part of me is ready now? Like, where am I already doing the things that these people would admire? Like little bits. So like fast forward a couple of years, I'm having a really just crap day. And I like text my sister. I'm like, this happened and that happened. And, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, you know what? I saw this like really good talk the other day that has some great advice. Do you want me to send it to you? And I was like, oh my God, that would be great. I need it right now. And do you know what she sent me? My own damn TED Talk. She sent me my own thing. I was like, you little turkey. And so,
okay, I heard her. Okay.
That is great.
So it's like, if we forget that we're ready, we forget that we know the advice that we need right now. And it's just a matter of like, okay, well, what do I know right now that can help me? Not do I know, but what do I know?
I'm going to do that, Leslie. I'm going to use that one.
That's great. I love it. And I love the idea with
I'm going to use that one.
I love the idea with the mirror, which includes you into the vision of it. I absolutely love it.
That's an amazing tip.
The other thing that I thought was really interesting was I had done a ton of vision boards about love because I was eternally single, could never meet the right one. And then somebody asked, like, do you actually have any space, or is it so crammed full there's no space for someone? And so the next vision board I did, I left a space in the shape of a heart in the middle. And then someone looked at it and said, but I don't see you on this vision board. So the next one, I included a picture of me. And on that trip was when I realized that the guy I was dating was the right guy. It was like, oh, I had to put me in the vision. So the mirror is a great way to do that. But even putting a picture of yourself on a regular vision board helps you see yourself in the jam, you know?
Write that down. Anybody listening for the replay or right now, write that in the chat. Yes. Wow, what a great tip.
That's
huge. There it is.
Write yourself into your vision.
I'm gonna
write yourself. Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
A story without you in it is a story not about you. Oh wow.
You have to be included in the vision. That is awesome.
That's huge. It's like boom.
It cannot be the greener grass on the other side. It has to be something where you are standing too.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm still on the. I know somebody has a great talk, and can you mind if I send it to you? Because you're was like, yes, that'd be great. That would have been so me. And when you got it, I'd have been like, touche.
Enjoy. Oh, she was so proud of that move. I still hear about it. I'm like, I know.
But it was so good though. Bravo. Now I can't even be mad anymore. Okay, got it. Wow, I am so going to use that.
Yeah, we have some great tips today.
Yes, excellent.
We have some
Excellent.
fabulous tips. So we have
Yes.
got, we started because how we started today, Adriana, was I played the intro song, The Journey to Me, Myself, and
Yeah,
I.
I heard that part
Did you
when
hear
it
it?
was banging in the backstage. I heard you. But I was
Right.
just banging, trying to let you guys get me to your little club.
The one of the lyrics talks about how I'm looking to the mirror and I'm liking what I see, but it's still a journey to get here, right? So that idea of, okay, first identifying with myself, then I can start to identify with stuff around me. And in everything that we've talked about today, we've talked about the reconnecting with self and setting self up for success by giving self time, right? And then we have talked about how to extend self and craft what it is you really want for yourself. And come to the fact that we have to give yourself a practice for it. And then we've dropped the huge gem on the idea of feeling yourself there and using your senses to position yourself there, right? And bring gratitude in the mix. And then we've closed with, you can't have a vision that doesn't include yourself. I mean, wow. That's just so much guidance that we've shared with people everywhere about doing this journey called life. Right? And if you can imagine if we had some of these things in the past, where we'd be today, but now because we've got them, we can bridge other people and allow them to reach pinnacles of their life faster. So if people have been struggling with self-doubt and feeling like they're insignificant and not really believing, that now we've given them the tips of, this is how you can discover and latch onto your significance and release your greatness, is here are some tips, right? And we're all living witnesses that this has worked for me. This is what I do. And then this is what Leslie does. And this is what Stephanie does. And this is what Adriana does. And in listening to all the different things that we're all doing, there's got to be something here that somebody can immediately grab and put into their journey with their life, their toolkit for living, that now can help them do life that much better. You know, with more improvement and getting more out of it and enjoying the process. Key, right? Enjoying the process of living, regardless of the shifts and changes that come, enjoying the process of living. Because a lot of people don't enjoy the process of living. Right? And you've heard about Abraham Hicks. So please go to YouTube and look up Abraham Hicks. Just go to YouTube. Just search Abraham Hicks, Hicks. Look up. You will see so much stuff that will really help inspire you. And, you know, may freak you out in the beginning, but if you can allow yourself to get past the freak out part, then get into the message, you'll see
Just
so
listen,
much. Yeah, just listen, and you'll see how much your life can shift and change. And the one thing we've all included, and I don't know if you heard this, but I'm going to bring it to your attention, is physical movement. It's necessary for you to engage your body every day into some type of physical movement. Right? Because as you're journeying and you're going forward, you need some movement. So pick something, even if it's just simply maybe walking in your kitchen, you know, doing the in the spot walk, something, doing the on the spot walk while you're brushing your teeth, if you're just starting moving again. But find something, some way, someplace where you can habitually, and I am literally saying habitually, add movement. So it's there all the time. Right? As you're doing something that you're always going to have to do, you can always include it to help yourself take the first steps. Because that's what we want you to do. We want you to take the first steps to the best steps for your life. But you got to take the first step. Take the first step. So we have hit our time, and I'm going to go ring of roses around to see what everybody wants to say to close you out, like the final gem to close us out. So, Leslie, what's your gem?
Oh gosh, I took away so much from you all, but it's just a reminder. What you said, Lizzy, about like the movement piece. to me is so critical because everything else comes from that feeling healthy, feeling good. And I was just having this recollection of when I was pregnant, every day when I was brushing my teeth, I would do calf raises because being off center because of the belly, like that actually helped me not get crampy in weird spots. And that was it. It just started with something I did because I know I'm going to brush my teeth, my little electric toothbrush. So for 2 minutes, calf raises. And then I would feel good. I'm like, maybe I'll do a few squats. Maybe I'll go on a 5-minute walk. But it's just that if you can commit to, I always say 5 minutes or 5 reps of something, it likely leads to more. But even if it doesn't, you still get those little victories and celebrate the little victory. It's better to do 5 minutes of something than no minutes. So it's kind of my ending point for the day.
Awesome. Adriana.
Try having a little bit of Sunday every day.
Yeah, that's a good one. I love that. Oh, I love that.
A little bit of Sunday every day.
Yeah, I love that. I love that one. It makes me feel, when I hear you say it and I think about it, it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy. I love that one.
And you have your fuzzy blanket that you love, so make that
right. I got
Sunday morning.
I got a new one right here that smells like cherry blossom. It's absolutely just it's divine. Absolutely divine. Steph, what you got?
So I have that if you cannot see it, you can't be it and you can't achieve it. So in this season of us preparing for our beach bodies and swimsuit season, if you're trying to rejuvenate and get back to a size or a person or a memory that you were before, take a picture of it, put it on the refrigerator, put it out in front of you, put it in the mirror, put it there, talk to her because she's still inside. So talk to her and see her as if she's already there and already operate as if you're already back in that body. Because if you do that, then you didn't lose anything, but you'll go back to the place that you remember.
That's
do that for everything that you do, and you can't lose.
Do you know what you're making me like? And be kind to her instead of being mad at her that she left in the first place. I think that's like, you know what I mean?
Don't be giving her no grief. She won't come back and chat with you. Just tell her you love her, and love her, but see her. Because she never left. She was always there. You just forgot she was there.
I love that. Thank you all for joining us here on the link. We are sending you so much love, so much care, and just thank yous. We believe in your very best for your tomorrow. That's why we'll keep linking together to bring you a message that there is always people that you can link with who will support you. Look for our Facebook group, Link Sisterhood, right? You can find it. Come and join us. It's a wonderful family of people who are sharing. We're popping in and doing Facebook Lives to kind of help people stay inspired and stay on this journey of sisterhood and collaboration with intention, because you're meeting people who believe like you believe, think like you believe, and want what you want, which is a fabulous life. Have a great evening. Thank you for our YouTubers, our Facebook family, and our LinkedIn family. Thank you all for being here, and take care and have a great rest of the week.